What's going on, guys? So today I'm talking about the Stat Gear AUSUS. This is their latest folder from Stat Gear. Here's the packaging. Actually, there's all the specs, so you can reference that if you want to see the details. But I just want to show you the packaging comes in. So this knife actually comes in 3 different versions. I decided to use the black on gray. This actually looks like black, but it is gray. You'll see that compared to the actual black one. So black on gray, this is the stonewash version with the black canvas micarta. So putting them side by side, you can see the difference now. Almost looks like just a lighter black, but there's that. And then there's also what I think is the coolest looking one, this version. And this has a tannish brown canvas micarta with the stonewash finish blade. I mean, that's a sexy looking knife. All 3 are nice, but this is definitely, in my opinion, like the classiest, coolest looking one. Just different. You know, black on black is always going to be cool, or black on gray in this particular case. And of course the standard just, you know, black handled, you know, silver bladed knife that's just kind of commonplace, but this is something a little bit special, a little bit different. But yeah, all 3 of these knives are totally the same except for the finish and color options. These do have canvas micarta, so it's an unfinished canvas micarta. It's not polished up or anything, so it almost feels, well, like a fabric, because that's what it was. You know, it has very fuzzy edges. If you look in, actually, let me zoom in so I can show you this. So when you first get the thing, if you notice the edges here, they're a little fuzzy. All right, and that again is because this is a fabric. You know, basically layer upon layer of fabric that's glued together, forms a very hard material. But it has a really, really interesting, comfortable feel. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of soft in the hand. It lends itself to be a little bit grippy, you know, naturally. It feels good. I really am a huge fan of unfinished micarta, and all 3 of these have the same thing, just in different colorations here. So this is the model I decided to use out of the 3, not because I thought it was the coolest looking, but because this one had the coated blade. I just wanted to see if that coating was going to wear prematurely, which it did not. I mean, it's a little dirty here from use, but you can see there's no rubbing or fading or anything, so it's held up pretty nice. Just some moderate cutting chores. Besides EDC tasks, I always, you know, take a knife and do some other cutting things around the house just to make sure I get some more use on it, because I'm not always using my knives hard every day, and there are some days I don't use my knives at all. So it's not just a good test to do EDC stuff. You have to actually go out of your way and cut cardboard boxes, sometimes plastic jugs, things like that. So the blade shape, very simple. It's a drop point style blade here. Enough of a point for simple penetration. It's not super pointy, but it does actually have a nice little point. The edge retention on the D2 is pretty good. Again, being D2, this is offered in either coated or that stonewash finish, and that is again to help prevent that rusting. Although I don't personally have too many problems with D2 rusting or anything like that. If you're out on the coast, or if you get that, you know, saltwater air, or if you're in a really humid environment, you could have problems with you know, light rusting on your blade, so you got to watch out for that D2. So it's a good idea to have it coated, you know, or in the case of these other models, that stonewash actually seals in the metal pores just a little bit, as opposed to, say, like a bead blasted knife. If you've ever had a bead blasted knife and you've gotten it wet, didn't dry it all the way, it's prone to rusting very quickly, simply because the bead blasting process kind of opens up the metal pores. All right, so it's easier to get moisture and stuff in there. But if I flick this open like extra hard, sometimes the lock will stick just a little bit. You can hear that popping noise? That's because it's kind of digging in to the base of that coating on the blade here. Just a little pop. It's not a huge deal. Eventually that'll wear in. There is no blade play at all in any direction. It still locks up very nicely. So there's a lockup on this. And just for reference, since I do have the other 2, I'll show you those as well. There's a lockup on the tan or brown one, pretty early. And the black one, stonewash, about the same. Actually, we put them side by side here, so you can see all of them in comparison with each other. Maybe if you get the right angle. There we go. So there's a lockup. All right, these pocket clips are awesome. They are deep concealed clips, so it shows nothing but the pocket clip. If you just look behind the clip there, you can see the cutout, so it is swappable to left side carry if you want. These come set up, tip up, right side carry. But yeah, I mean, it's a little simple pocket clip. There's no design here or anything. It seems like it's just a little bit longer than a standard clip. Works very nice. It kind of flares out just the right angle Fits in the pocket very nicely. No struggling or having to lift the clip or anything. It's not super tight either. Good spring action on this. I feel like if you hyperextend it a little bit, got caught on a seatbelt or something in and out of a car, it wouldn't be, you know, as big of a problem. Sometimes with different knife companies, the pocket clips, if you grab it on something and it pulls it way out here, it never snaps to the original position. It's like all bent out. But this one feels like a really good spring clip. So, you know, that's a plus. I just really like this clip style. Pretty simple. There is a lanyard hole that goes through the frame here. All right, so if you wanted to add a lanyard, you can see it's kind of a 3/4 or 4/5 maybe. Open frame design with the little back spacer, which again is purposeful for that lanyard hole. So the price tag on these knives is 50 bucks. Doesn't matter if you go through their Amazon page or if you go directly to the website. What's interesting though is I saw on the Amazon page, they also offer an option for a Kydex sheath for this, which houses the knife in the closed position here with the pocket clip on, which is a really nice option. And I saw there that it's a vet-run, you know, Kydex company, which is pretty cool, made in America. Kydex, but it looks like it has a carbon fiber, either a skin on the outside or it just looks like carbon fiber. Pretty interesting option. It's another $20, so it'd be $70 for the knife plus the sheath. But pretty interesting. I don't know, just an idea. If you wanted to free up your pocket space, you could put this, you know, right into a sheath on the belt or on a bag or something like that. But I have no experience with it. Just happened to mention it because I saw it there. Thought that was interesting. You don't always see, you know, options for folders with Kydex sheaths, but it is pretty intriguing. So, I mean, overall, I really, really like this knife. The only thing that bothers me is that lock stick. Now, I thought that it's because I used the coated version. You can hear it popping. Again, it's not affecting, you know, there's no blade play or anything because of it. With a lot more use, I'm assuming that's going to wear down a little bit. I don't know if that'll create a little blade play or not. Just a little bit of pop there. I thought, again, it was the coated version, but if I take one of the non-coated versions and I give it a really good flick, you still get the same pop. So what that is just a fitment issue. So I mean, for the price tag, it's not that much of an issue, but if it was like $100+ knife, it would be something that I would have more of a problem with. I mean, overall, I really do like the knife. Something else I noticed too, there's a deep finger trawl here, although the design is pretty squared off, you know, and simple. There's a deep finger trawl, so it does lock in the hand very nicely, but also the liner lock is completely smooth. And this is something that I really like. A lot of times with liner locking knives, there'll be some kind of like jimping on here for grip. It's really never necessary. This sticks out just ever so slightly past the scale, so when you dip your thumb in here, you can't help but catch that, all right? So I don't need any kind of jimping. The problem that I had with some knives, not this one, but when you put jimping on the liner lock so it's easy to grab, guess what happens? When you facilitate your grip on there, your finger's rubbing on it. So sometimes that becomes uncomfortable. I do like the fact that this is just nice and smooth here. So yeah, I mean, that pretty much covers it. I really do like the knife. I wish the little stick issue wasn't there. To me, it's not a big issue, but it is definitely worth mentioning. Some pros on this, obviously D2 for 50 bucks. The canvas micarta scales, which is really nice. You don't usually see that on a lot of different folders, at least the unfinished micarta. This is a finish and a feel you're mostly gonna get on a fixed blade. A lot of outdoors, especially like bushcrafting knives, you see a lot of like unfinished micarta. You know, generally speaking on folders, even if it does have micarta, a lot of times it's polished. All right, so it has a totally different feel, kind of a hard plasticky feel. This is just a little bit soft. It kind of feels like just, I don't know, a little bit fuzzy. If you just rub your denim jeans. I mean, it has a very similar feel to that. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have an awesome day, and I will see you soon. Take care.